Not long after the Second World War, America found itself once again in a struggle in a faraway land. Fighting against communism in Russian-backed North Korea, members from Clemmons Methodist joined in the fight to protect democracy for South Korea and the United States. This struggle against communism would occupy our thoughts for over 50 years until the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. Meanwhile, back at home, the interior of the church was remodeled with restrooms and a new furnace, which made worshiping a more comfortable experience for all. The early 1960s brought a brief break from war. Records indicate that enough money was raised to begin funding a new educational building to accompany the 1920s sanctuary. A new building was constructed and finished in 1963. This part of Clemmons Methodist is actually the only part of our church that is still standing today. The two-story brick addition had a small fellowship hall, a kitchen, office space, and 6 classrooms. In 1965, the C.T. Cooper House next to the church on Highway 158 was purchased as a parsonage. The row of houses, including the Cooper House that lined our street, are mostly gone now, but the Cooper House allowed Clemmons Methodist to have a live-in minister for the first time, even if we did have to share him with Harmony Grove. On May 22, 1966, the new education building was officially dedicated. The formal dedication included Bishop Earl Hunt and our district superintendent, Frank Jordan. The service began with Ein feste Berg by Martin Luther and included beautiful music, liturgy, and communion. In 1968, the Methodist Church merged with the Evangelical United Brethren. Often called the German version of Methodism in the United States, the EUB's theology was closely aligned with ours. Taking the word united from the Evangelical United Brethren, we became the United Methodist Church on April 23, 1968, at a conference in Dallas, Texas. Almost like clockwork, war entered our world and community once again for a third decade in a row. Again, members of the congregation stepped up to serve during the Vietnam era. In 1969, the newly named Clemmons United Methodist Church became a station church. Orrin Edmonds became our first full-time minister. The Women's Society of Christian Service created a cookbook the same year. Everyone knows that we Methodists love to cook and to share. Ads were sold to offset cookbook printing costs. This page from the cookbook reminds us that the Brewer Heights Apartments offered luxury living with both air conditioning and shag carpeting. In 1976, the entire country was focused on America's bicentennial. Every organization participated in one giant celebration of the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Clemmons United Methodist celebrated with an application to the North Carolina Archives to designate McKnight's Meeting House as a North Carolina historical site. Dedicated in July of 1976, we were joined by other Clemmons churches to celebrate the founding of our congregation. In 1976, our congregation was only 194 years old.